San Diego's Mayor Bob Filner is now famous for a lot of reasons. He has apparently sexually harassed a great number of women, and he's famous for the Filner headlock. Several women have attested that he has literally put them in a headlock and then whispered sexual things into their ear. I'm surprised that he caught on. Secretly, a lot of people knew that that's a great move.
That's a great move.
Like people like, oh, how do you seduce a woman? Filner headlock.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, how you doing? Right? Works every time. Except for Filner, it appears that it has worked none of the time. We now have victim number 8 and victim number 9 that have come forward. And the city council has voted 9-0, by the way, to say that we will not be paying Filner's bills, because this guy has the balls on him. Well, it's got a lot of issues with balls. To say not only did I sexually, and he's partly apologized, so he's partly saying, I might have sexually harassed these women, but I would like the city to pay my legal fees for doing so. I'll get to his reason why in a second. But let's go to victim number 8, who describes how she was sexually harassed by.
It was a standard briefing that you would do for a U.S. congressman. I had several staff there with me. He seemed casually interested in the topic. It probably lasted about 20 minutes. As we were leaving and after everyone had shook hands, he asked me if I would stay behind for a moment. My staff went out the door. I was in a closed room, and as I recall, there were no windows in it. And he grabbed my left hand and looked at the wedding ring and twirled it around and asked if it was a real wedding band. And I said, yes, it was, about 25 years worth of wedding band. He then asked me if it could come off while I was in DC and if I would go out with him. And I said I really didn't think so. And at that point, he pulled my hand closer to him and he reached over to kiss me. I turned my head at that moment, and on the side of my face, I got a very wet, saliva-filled kiss, including feeling his tongue on my cheek.
And what did you say to him?
I didn't say anything. I snatched my hand back and I walked out of the room and I left to get to the safety of my staff.
I was saying, who licks someone's face? Probably the same guy, probably the same guy who puts people in the Filner headlock.
Yeah.
And the same guy who now says my bills should be paid by the city because they never gave me sexual harassment training. That's his excuse. He said, if they had given me sexual harassment training, I would have known not to lick their face and put them in headlocks. So that's why they have to pay for my legal fees. And as he's saying that, finally we get to victim number 9, and I'm sure that she won't be the last. But Emily Gilbert says, he hugged me a little too closely when she had an interaction with him, and then put his arm around me and proceeded to slide his arm down and do a little grab on my derriere. And she mentioned that to a local report in San Diego.
Important to note, she is a Marilyn Monroe lookalike. And what I like about that is, the interesting thing about this particular scandal is he's not like a Clinton or like a Weiner, where he's just looking for really young women, to make him feel like young and alive. He's just any woman, rear admiral, aide to anybody that comes in. He picks very regular looking women, and he still can't succeed ever with them. No action, nothing.
Well,
Every age bracket?
It's the headlock and the licking. It's just not effective. It's a bad strategy. But I actually think the city should pay for his legal fees.
Really?
Why?
I do.
Okay, all right, Mr. Legal Correspondent for TYT, why?
Because he was carrying on these, okay, it depends. If he's doing it as a private citizen, when he's off duty, that's his business, that's his problem. But if he's doing it in the course of his act, as a mayor, then the city is responsible. And when these women sue, the city has to pay the damages.
But doesn't his actions, the actions that he's being sued for, don't they have to be official actions? So those don't actually fall under official actions. Right, so that's stuff that he's doing on his, like if he was on his computer doing something illegal, but he was doing it at his office, I don't think you would have to pay for his legal fees then. You know what I mean? So it has to be part of his official duties that you're suing him for, like, hey, you guys passed this law that let a freeway go through my house, and now I'm gonna sue you for this.
Well, it's like a police officer. If a police officer is hitting on you and kicking your ass or using excessive force, Well, the city is responsible.
On duty versus
Yeah,
off duty.
on
I mean,
duty,
that's
yeah.
that's what he's implying.
It's funny that he wants them to pay because they said they didn't give him sexual harassment training. And I heard that Arnold Schwarzenegger wants the state of California to pay for his legal because they didn't give him don't fuck the maid training. And so there's a lot of training you have to give people before they get into office. And if you saw his press conference, he kept saying that my conduct was wrong and I apologize for my conduct. My conduct was irresponsible. And I'm like, why are you talking about your conduct like it's another person, right? He kept, yeah, I walked in, my conduct is fingering this woman. I couldn't believe it.